everybody. This is Karen, the needle bug, back for a long overdue video. And we're gonna do a stitch with me today, and I'm gonna be working on my usual Stitcher's Retreat. It's been a long time since I recorded, and well, what can I say? Life just gets in the way. We know how it is. I hope all of you had a fantastic holiday season. I know we did here. We had a really nice Thanksgiving. Christmas certainly was very enjoyable, especially with the grandkids. Oh my God, they are so darn funny. Oh, my grandson is so cute. They were here for Christmas Day, opened up all their presents, and the next Sunday, no, not the Sunday after Christmas, but the following Sunday, we went down in the morning, and on a Sunday morning, and we usually go down and everybody goes out for breakfast. We go in the door, and he comes running with this Harry. Now he just turned 5 years old on the 9th of December, and he comes running out into the kitchen with this Harry Potter puzzle. And it's like, look what I got for Christmas, Nana. It was the best Christmas present ever. And I said, do you remember who you got that from? And he just stood there, and he looked, and he looked, and then finally he said, he wasn't sure. And I said, well, Nana got you that. Oh, Nana, it's the best Christmas present ever. I love it. It's the best ever. Now it's a 500-piece puzzle, and this little guy, bless his little heart, with some help can do it, and given a time or two, he'll do it all by himself. He's doing 250 and 300-piece puzzles now. He's one smart little guy, but him and his sister are such a joy to us. What can I say? What can I say? So we had a really good holiday season, and I hope all of you did also. And like I said, holidays get in the way. Of course, I keep on stitching. We'll go through withdrawal if I don't do that. Heaven forbid. Can't not stitch in a day's time. Drop a needle. Okay, here we go. Just a little bit of a life update. I'm sure from past videos, many of you know that I've been having trouble with my hands, and especially my right thumb. Well, we've concluded that the shaking that I have at this point is just essential tremors, and nothing really to be concerned about at this point in time. So that's a good thing. I'm glad about that. However, my thumb issue on my left hand has turned out to be quite another story. I ended up, I'm just making sure I get to the right spot here for my next park of this color. Okay. I ended up, after I saw my family doctor about it, he gave me some what they call Voltaren cream, which is a topical pain agent that you put on to handle the discomfort. And that was all fine, well, and good. Still didn't allow me to hold a hoop or anything like that anymore, or stitch in hand. Can't do that either. So I ended up taking it upon myself to go back to the orthopod that I had used when I broke my ankle, who was absolutely fantastic. I just love that practice, and I highly recommend them to anybody who has an orthopedic issue in my area. At this point, I wouldn't go to anybody else. So I went back and saw him, and he, of course, x-rayed it, which my family doctor had not done, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. So he did x-rays, and I spoke with his PA, which is a physician's assistant, and told her the issues that I was having, and told her I thought maybe it was a tendinitis, but actually I've kind of on my own ruled that out because it didn't act the same way as a tendinitis did when I had it many years ago. It flares from time to time. I had an episode right before that where I could barely move my thumb. In fact, I, on my own, iced it and wrapped it and was taking Tylenol because, well, that's about the only pain medicine. The only pain medicine I can take these days because of issues that I've had in the past, and that's a whole nother big long story we aren't going to go into. And that just wasn't helping anymore. So shortly thereafter, the doctor came in, and he took one look and moved my thumb around and did all the stuff that he does to assess it, and says, well, I'm not surprised that you're having a lot of discomfort and it flares up because you have basal joint osteoarthritis. So really what that is it's arthritis in the base of your thumb, right down here in this joint. In fact, you can see it looks like I'm kind of getting a bunion here. And by your x-rays, you're already bone on bone, and you have a huge bone spur. So given those conditions, you've had this for a while. Well, I said, well, yeah, I'm sure that I did, because there were times where it bothered me, but then it would go a long time and it wouldn't bother me, and it's been an off and on thing for several years. So as a result, I end up I can ice it, I can use my Voltaren gel, and when I need to and it really bothers me, I now have a thumb brace that I can wear. However, that limits my range of motion. I mean, I can still use my thumb to some extent, but it certainly does limit the range that I have. So As you can see, I'm being a naughty girl at the moment and stitching without it. However, if it gets too bad, I'll put it on. So at this point, until it gets really bad and really unbearable, it's just a matter of live with it until you get to a point where something needs to be done, and then there is a surgical procedure that they can do where they take the arthritic bone out, and then they replace and rejoin things with some tendons and ligaments and what have you to make your thumb usable. And the surgery is very successful, but of course I prefer not to jump right in to go under the knife. And that's what I like about these doctors, is they're not cut happy. They're willing to try other things, and before they say, well, we need to do surgery. So I mean, that's a plus in my mind for this particular practice. And why I continue to go to them. As I said, I really do like them. So what that means is I can no longer stitch in hand. I can no longer hold an embroidery hoop or a Q-snap for any amount of time. So that's why you see me currently stitching two-handed until my thumb bothers me that I either switch to one hand or put my brace on. And that also means that for those of you who, pardon me, watch my channel, for the Hardanger videos, I'm sorry to say there just is not going to be any more, because I just cannot hold a hoop or the fabric for any amount of time. And I've kind of I had to give that up, because I'd rather, if I have my druthers, I'd rather enjoy my cross stitch and not plague myself with having to do videos for Hardanger, because life's just too short. So do what you enjoy, and that's what I intend to do. So that's that update on where things stand with that. To those that are members of my channel for the Hardanger, I'm sorry, but as I said, life's too short, and I'd rather just enjoy what I can do. So at this point, I'm using a scroll frame or a Q-snap. Now this is a Monarch stand, so I'm using my scroll on this. I don't know if you can see it in the video. I can't remember when I lined it up, and hopefully I lined you up that you can see what I'm doing, because this was a bit tricky. But I have the adapter for a Lowry. So during the day I stitch over here in my sun porch, and I'm on my Monarch stand. But in the evening I like to sit in the living room with my husband and stitch over there. So that's why I have a Lowry stand over there, and I have this adapter, because not that my living room is small, but it just is too crowded if I try and take this stand over there. So I prefer not to do that. So I take it off of this stand, and put it on the Lowry in the living room. So that's kind of where we're at with all of that. I guess you guys are kind of, by this point, wondering, what the heck is she doing? Well, I don't know if you remember, I said this piece has been a piece of experimenting with many methods of stitching, and true to form, I had a whim that, I think I'll just do cross country by page because I can really stitch faster that way. And this project's already going to be, I started it in the very end of 2016. I worked on it during 2017. Now I am on the third row of pages. I worked on it 2017. However, the very end of 2017, I put it away because from December of 2017 until October of 2018, I spent making 2 Heaven and Earth Christmas stockings for my grandchildren. So Abe got, his stocking was First Snow, and I apologize, I can't remember the artist who did that, but if you just look up First Snow and stockings, you'll find it. So that was Abe's. And Emmy, she's a cat lover, so her stocking is Long Winter's Nap. So it took me the best part of a year to stitch both of those, and that was all that I worked on during that time. Thank you, Portia, for your stitch-alongs in Stitch Talk, because had it not been for them, I very well may not have gotten them done. But we did. So now that I went down that rabbit hole, where was I going? Oh, this. I had it in my head I was going to try cross country by page, which I have done on this before, and I was just looking for, wow, is there a faster way to work on these? Because like I said, I already had almost a year in this, then took a year off, and now I picked it back up in October, and from October, I'm not sure if they're in the frame, but from October I did the last 1, 2 pages, and the third page is just a really skinny strip on the row 2, and then I have 1, 2, 3. I'm on the 4th page of row 3 since October. Okay, I'm just trying to locate my right place again. Sorry. There. So it's a long time to be spending on this already, and I'd like to move it along a little quicker. However, I'm not so sure that that's going to happen, because what I keep finding is I get lost doing cross country. It's like, okay, where am I? Where was I? what am I doing? And here I have a thread parked wrong. So I went back to stitching on the diagonal. And now, unfortunately, what I'm having to do is also a little bit not confusing, but at this point tedious, because I'm going back and I'm filling in all the blank holes. So it's a lot of careful watching of where I'm at and what stitches I need to do, and it doesn't help the fact that this is an area that is jam-packed, loaded with confetti, because as you can see, I think I'm lucky if I'm getting one stitch and then having to do a different color. There's no there's no area of colors in this. And you'll also see that I have to go back here and do a couple of these ninja stitches, but we'll get back to that at some point before the page is done. So that's kind of the story on that. But it's a little tedious, but I don't mind. In fact, I had a couple times where I thought, oh my gosh, sometimes I just want to do some mindless stitching. And I think, okay, I have some projects that are that are not finished. Not too many, but some. And like I had told you before, I was a sampler stitcher mainly before I braved the world and became addicted to heaven and earth. So I do have 2 full coverage samplers that I need to finish, and there's a lot of mindless stitching in them. One of them being Scarlet Letters Manifesto and Scarlet Letters Hannah Carter. Now, both of them are probably roughly guesstimating between about a third done, both of them. And of course, they're kind of laying in the drawer. So when I get the urge for mindless stitching, I pull one of them out and do a little bit. Well, let me tell you how long that lasts. Oh, not too long at all. It's like, okay. I stitched on this for an hour. Now I'm bored silly. And I end up putting it away again and coming back to this. So much said for mindless stitching. I get bored anymore. As much as the confetti and the constant changing of colors can drive you a little bonkers sometimes, it also holds your interest, and you certainly don't get bored. So that's kind of where we're at with that. I don't know if any of you have found them, but my best new thing in the world has been these Easy Glide needles. And that's what I'm using now. I don't know if you can see I'll try and show you. I don't know if I'm focused in enough or hard to tell because I can't see the other side of my phone to see. In fact, I'm hoping I have the whole thing set up correctly, that you're seeing what I'm doing. But these Easy Glide needles are the best thing, in my opinion, since sliced bread. I love them. They're the ones that have the little ball on the end. And I have found that, especially when you're doing over one, when you use a regular tapestry needle, whether it's a Bohin or a John James or a Peacemaker's or whatever one you use, when you're coming up through a hole, if there's already thread in it, you tend to split it. Not that you always do, but there is that tendency. I'm marking my chart. Hold on a second. There is that tendency for that to happen, unfortunately. Well, I have found with these needles, that doesn't happen. It's fabulous. I feel like my stitching looks, not that it looked bad to begin with, but it looks even so much better. So I am really happy with it. The only thing I don't like about them is the eye is so tiny that if you've watched my videos before, you know I have always done this little trick to thread needles. It worked. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't because of the tiny eye. I just have a little bit more trouble doing it. The other thing that is a little bit of a drawback, but I just switch the needle, is when you're going to work your thread underneath in the back, sometimes you have a bit of trouble getting underneath the stitches. So, I mean, that's just as easy to rethread a regular tapestry needle and use that to end off your thread. So we've dealt with that. But the best thing I love about these needles is, now I got them back, I am going to say late spring, early summer is when I bought my first ones from Easy Glide on Etsy. Now, Bohin needles, John James needles, Peacemaker needles, I used for maybe 2 weeks at the most and had to throw them away because they were tarnished, they were rough, they drug when you went through the fabric. This needle I have used, and it's the only needle I have used since the day I got it. And it's not tarnished. It slides just as nice today as it did on the first day that I got it. So for me, I paid $3 a needle. So for me, it was worth every penny that I spent on these needles. And I think I got like 6 at the time. So for me, that was highly worth it because I was buying needles before, pardon me, by the hundreds. And throwing them away in a week or two because they were just no good anymore. And I don't like to use a needle when it drags, and That's just no fun. Okay, pardon me, but I'm checking my chart again to see where I go with this. So, best new thing. If you haven't tried them, give them a shot. I got mine on Etsy at Easy Glide, and I have also found the other place. There is another place you can get them, and again, it's on Etsy, and they have a Facebook group. It's called Polka Dot Stitchery, and it's exactly the same needle. They're just a smidge cheaper than Easy Glide, and I think now Heaven and Earth also carries them. So those are the places that you can get the needles from if you decide you want to give them a try. I love them. I personally highly recommend them, and especially for someone who tarnishes needles. And I will say, sometimes they look a smidge discolored up in here, but it isn't dragging through the fabric. It isn't pulling. And what I found is if you have an emery, one of those filled with white emery, if you just rub it through there a couple times, you shine it right back up. And it's, like I said, it doesn't drag at all through the fabric. So that to me is a fabulous plus when it comes to needles, because this is a hobby, but by darn, you also want to make sure, and you want to use tools that, okay, just forgot what stitch I was doing. Okay, that one. You're only as good as the tools that you use. So I like to make sure I have needles and scissors and all of that good stuff that's going to it's going to help make my stitching as good as it can be. So I think I just heard my husband come home from the eye doctor. So I think what I will do is end this here, and hopefully till the next time I see you, I'll be back to a decent diagonal. It's coming along pretty good. Like I said, filling in these stitches is gets a little tedious, but guess what? We'll survive and we'll get through it. So with that, thanks for watching, and thanks for having me in your home. If you like this video, please leave a comment or a thumbs up. If there's anything you'd like me to talk about or you'd like to know, again, please leave me a comment. And again, if you like the video, hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. And I'd like to thank, the subscribers that I do have, because you guys are just blowing my mind. I don't think there's a day goes by that, maybe a day, but there's not a week that goes by that I haven't had new subscribers. And honestly, I haven't checked lately, but the last time I checked, it was above 3,000 subscribers, and I just can't believe that. So I really would like to thank you all, and I really, really appreciate your subscribing and your comments, and I would love to hear from you. So until next time, bye-bye.